Standing in the way of life. No, babes. America is a third world country. America is a third world country. I've been back for 3 months.
So this is my new channel.
I know several young men right now in their mid-20s who are living at home. They have full-time jobs. The rest of us are living in apartments. I get married in 4 months. We are not buying a house.
It's not fair. I feel like I'm perpetuating the lie that got us here in the first place. This whole American dream was because people kept saying the things that I'm telling my son right now, like work hard, go to school, get an education. Like, what am I doing?
Well, right now I pay $2,282.91 every month. It's going up to $2,547. Are they out of their mind?
About the fall of white America, okay? White men, human traffic, black people from Africa made banks and wealth off this country, made banks, wealth, and institutions off of that, and they're the only people that can afford, stuff in this country. If you ran a race for 500 years and each lap was 1 year, that's 500 years of basically each time, like on Monopoly, 200 you pass go, they up on us, and they owe us reparations, because we the ones that built the track, okay?
A lot of Americans are starting to notice something very uncomfortable that they can't avoid anymore, and that's the fact that this country no longer looks like the America that they believed in growing up.
There's something wrong in this country telling people it is okay to work 3 jobs, not see your kids, not see your loved ones, not take a vacation, and God forbid you get sick.
I know several young men right now in their mid-20s who are living at home. They have full-time jobs. The rest of us are living in apartments. I get married in 4 months. We are not buying a house. I saw someone on Twitter call this permanent adolescence. That's exactly what it is. And it's going to get worse. Donald Trump just said he wants people that already own homes to see their home values go up. That's sounding a lot like I will never own a home. When we enrich boomers and Gen Xers at the expense of Gen Z, we are severing our ability to leave the nest. Why do you think people are having kids so late? I'm a capitalist, but I will tell you this is exactly why democratic socialist figures like Zohran Mamdani are gaining so much popularity, because at least someone is listening to us. The future I think a lot of us see for ourselves is that we continue to live in boxes, AI replaces all of our jobs, and we have to live off some stimmy check from the government. That's bleak.
Hey guys, I'm at Walmart. Check this out. Look at the price on these snow boots for kids. This is absolutely absurd. We're supposed to keep our kids' feet warm. $50 for a pair of snow boots? Insane.
This is one of those things I talk to my friends about, but I've never said publicly. Do you ever wonder how people are affording things? Like, my husband and I do pretty decently. We own a home. We each have a car with car payments. We have a moderate amount of student loan debt. We have 1 kiddo. We live in a rural town outside of Portland, Oregon. I feel like as far as millennials go, we're probably pretty middle of the road. And I think our spending is probably pretty middle of the road too. I budget, I try to watch our bills. We don't do a lot of shopping, but Amazon shows up more than I'd like. But then I see people who are like regular, and by the way, no judgment passing on these. This is just me wondering how this is possible. I see people who are regularly getting their nails done, regularly getting their hair done. They're constantly buying new home decor items. They're constantly buying new clothing that's on trend. Like, I just watched a video of a woman talking about how her costs for a pedicure are $200 for every pedicure. And like, while that's great, and I'm sure it's like a gorgeous pedicure, I don't doubt that the service is awesome. I'm just like, how is somebody affording to do that regularly? And moreover, like, how are there enough people who can afford to do that to like make that service worth it, I guess is part of it too.
How come it's always we can't afford to pay our workers more than $15 an hour, but never we can't afford to pay our CEOs millions of dollars a year?
So I lied to my son today, my 5-year-old. He asked me a pretty simple question that any 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, any kid would probably ask their parent. And to me, it hit different. Because today he said, why do I have to go to school? I don't want to. And I told him, because it's important. To get an education is important. To be smart and to understand how things work is important. I told him, so that way in the future, you know, you can get a good job and you can earn money so you can get a good house and have a nice life for yourself. You gotta go to school. You gotta get smart to do that, you know? And it's getting harder to do these things and say these things to him because I really am lying to him, and I am fully aware of that. And I think that's the worst part of all of this, is that like I've been lying to myself, obviously, about just trying to maintain a positivity of some shred through all of this. But I think that I'm sure a lot of moms share this feeling. It's like, well, what do we tell our kids? What is the motivational factor? Like, go to college and get into massive amounts of debt for a job that you might not be able to even get? For a degree, who knows it's going to be there or not? For a field, who knows if it's going to exist in a country that who knows if it's going to even be a country still. So you can afford a house that nobody can even afford today. I'm expecting him to be able to afford it in 20 years. Maybe if he gets sick, you know, what is he going to do? Afford health care? Where? What am I cheerleading him for? Like, I feel so bad because he is like the only bright light in this world I feel like I have left to be motivated for. And I feel like it's a lie. I shouldn't feel like this. I have what I need. I have a home, and like a beautiful marriage to my husband, his father. We've created a family, jobs. We have everything that I was told would.
How is anyone affording anything? Because everything is expensive. It's like looking at Zillow and there's like a 2-bedroom townhouse that's a fixer-upper and it's like $875,000. Get bent. Or you're paying like $1,200 a month for some shitty Honda that like screams when you start the engine. Like, I don't understand. And like concert tickets, I know I've mentioned this before, but they're like $600 just to like sit behind a pole. But if you want like a decent area where you can breathe the same air as the freaking stage, it's like $900. What the? Or like all these people are going on these lavish vacations to like Greece or like Ireland. What? Or like kids' sports fees, they're like $300 and you get like some shitty polyester jersey and you don't even get shorts, it's just the jersey. Is this real life? So I'm convinced either one of a few things is happening. People are selling their feet for money, they're freaking selling plasma, they're literally selling nose nachos, or they're married to someone super wealthy, because I have no idea how the hell anyone is affording to live right now.
I just checked my mail for the first time probably since October. My mortgage is going up in February. It's going from $228. Well, right now I pay $2,282.91 every month. It's going up to $2,547. Are they out of their mind? Why? Why is this happening? This looks like gibberish.
Are we tripping right now? Or is mascara actually $25
for Lash Paradise?
Look, this is one of the mascaras I use, $21.99. Wait, what? $21.29.
Bro, even Great Lash. This is $17.
What?
$17, bro.
Are we tripping right now? Is this
$6?
I'm so confused.
What is actually happening?
I'm just going to lay myself bare here, because something that I really want and something which I really struggle with is that I really want to buy a house, and I'm 35 and I'm a first-time buyer. Like, how are first-time buyers in their 30s now affording to buy a house? Because I bought a house maybe 11 years ago when I was with my ex, and it was a 3-bedroom semi-detached house, and I bought it for 150 grand, and I literally only had to save 10 grand for deposit. Like, I lived at home and it took me like 8 months and I had 10 grand for deposit. Like, that now would be like fairly achievable. But if you want, like, I'm a mum, if you want a family home, and even a 3-bed semi would be great right now, but like, you need like at least 70, 80 grand for deposit. And with the cost of living and the cost of rent and the cost of food and like the cost of childcare and everything else, like, how are people my age, like, how am I always seeing people my age who are first time buyers? Like, is it that they've just been saving for like 20 years and have just been really, really savvy? Or is there something that I'm missing? Because it's something which like pretty much lives in my head rent free. And I'm like, am I ever going to achieve this? Because how are people doing this? So if you know the secret, if you know the secret sauce, please tell me.
I have a decent job. I make $28 an hour. I work almost full time. Sometimes the doctor I work for is out, so I don't get scheduled, or the day is not as full as it should be for the amount of assistance, so I miss some hours, but not very often. Most often I work a full work week. Why is it that I'm working a full work week, making a decent amount an hour, and I'm still not able to like pay my bills? Like, I have a daughter and it's just me and her, and like, I don't extravagantly spend my money. I'm driving a 2015. I'm wearing scrubs that are 4 sizes too big for me because I'm not replacing them. Like, I don't buy makeup. I don't buy hair products. I don't buy new clothes. Like, I don't really do any activities because I don't have the money to do it. How are people affording life? Like, I just feel stressed all the time. I'm stressed all the time about money. And I know they say that like money doesn't buy happiness. And I'm not saying that I'm not happy, because I feel fulfilled in my life with my child and with my friends. But like, if I wasn't stressed about buying groceries or getting gas so that I can make it to work, I would be a lot happier.
I'm drowning in credit card debt, and I don't know what to do. If you're seeing this video, you probably are also drowning in credit card debt, and I wish I knew how to help you, but I don't, because I don't even know what to do for me. So here's the story. I'm 30. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2, and I have something called cystic fibrosis. And back in November of last year, I left my career, and I had been a working person ever since I could get a permit, because my health was deteriorating, and my husband and I decided it was more important that I stay home with the kids and stop trying to work at the same time and consider my health first, because obviously, if you know what CF is, it already shortens my life expectancy, and my kids deserve for me to be here as long as possible. So we did that, and everything was okay because my husband worked really hard and he figured out a way to bridge the gap between the 2 incomes, and it was good until it wasn't. And then we started putting stuff on credit cards, and we couldn't pay those credit cards off like we were used to. And then a couple months ago, we regrouped, we figured some stuff out, and we found some extra money. We did some extra things to make some extra money, and we started putting that towards the debt. But then our escrow went up. It was severely deficient, so our mortgage payment went up by $400 a month and took all of that extra money that we had found. And now I don't have the opportunity to go work. I don't have the opportunity, because of my health, to do anything else other than just take care of my kids and myself right now. And come next year, my husband's gonna try to do more stuff on the side from his actual career to make money.
This is really embarrassing, and I'm kind of exposing myself here, but I'm going to be sharing with you all the things that I wasted money on as I was actively growing my $13,000 of credit card debt. I am not in that spot anymore. I've cut my debt down to a little bit below $5,000. I'm also saving up at least $10,000 to bring my mom on an African safari when she retires. So I've really gotten a good handle on my finances, and I've gotten a lot more intentional and frugal. Starting off strong, the first thing is I used to spend $100 every week on a house cleaner for my tiny little apartment for just my cat and I. And she wasn't even that good. And then when I tried to cancel, she wouldn't give me my keys back. But that's besides the point. I spent $400 a month for somebody to clean my apartment. I literally took this money out of my savings account every week to Venmo her. I'm not gonna lie though, the feeling of coming home every Thursday to a spotless house was, it was incredible. Number 2, I used to shop at Whole Foods. I don't know what made me think that Whole Food shopping was in my budget. I was so incredibly delusional. I had no good reason for it. I just wanted to shop there. And my grocery bill would come out to like $300 each time, and that was just right on the credit card. I used to get my nails done every 2 weeks, which cost $100. I used to get these long, beautiful UV gel nails. I miss them so much. I love having my nails done, but that was an unnecessary expense. I used to get Botox in my face, and I forget how many units I would get. I think either 100 or 1,000. I got a lot. Not gonna lie, I do miss having it, but I mean, it's just not in my budget. This one I stopped doing at some point, but I was doing this for a while. I used to get lip filler. Lip filler is so expensive. Lip filler alone was $850. All of those injectables, right on my credit card. Remember one day I walked out of the injectable place and I just spent $1,700 on injectable. Right on my credit card. That was the price of my rent. I paid for a $3,000 West Elm couch. Also, the couch is ginormous and takes up my entire living room, which is microscopically small. And I actually don't love it. But because I spent over $3,000 on it, it's not going anywhere. I booked a trip to Asia for a month. While on the height of my credit card debt, I just decided to go travel the world. And when I came back from that trip, I was hyperventilating over how much debt I was in. And that was kind of the tipping point that made me start this whole journey. I used to order out food all the time. And when I'm talking about ordering out food, I'm not talking a little bit here and there. I was ordering seafood boils weekly. Seafood boils. Talking like anywhere from $60 to $80 seafood boils right on the credit card. I bought my dad concert tickets for not one, but 2 concerts for $1,000 each. Dan's never been to a concert in his life. I don't know why I thought he needed to go to 2, but it was a nice bonding experience for the both of us. But that was $2,000 of debt right there. So obviously I had a problem. I had a big problem with spending money that I didn't have. As I was making this list though, I was like, man, I was living good. I was living real good, but I was living in debt and I was stressed out beyond belief. I wasn't even able to enjoy any of those luxuries because I would feel guilty after each and every one.
No one can live off of these salaries. It was just shown that there's a 109% increase in default credit card payment for those with the highest credit ratings. That's saying a 781 to an 850, 109% increase in credit default. So what's that saying to us? These are the people that, based on credit scores, people have a lot of opinions about credit scores, but they are the best with money. And these people can't pay their bills. They can't pay their credit card bills. How are the rest of the world paying their credit card bills for the people who truly have the bad credit score, who probably have a bad credit score because they don't have the money? It is time that somebody says it, that somebody says to the companies, somebody says to the government, very soon your health insurance is going to be going up by hundreds of dollars. People don't have an extra $100. They don't have an extra $100. If the people who are best at paying their bills are 109% increase in credit default, what's the rest of the world going to do? What are the people with the 400 scores, the 500 scores, the 600 scores going to be doing? We're screwed. We are screwed. People are being paid like it's 2009, like it's 2010. They cannot live off of these salaries. We're screwed.
So I'm having one of those moments where the credit cards are maxed out and the sales have slowed down. So we don't know how we're going to pay our bills for the business this month, going into next month. I'm staying positive that something will come through and we'll get back on top. We always seem to do that, but just, in the in-between days or sometimes weeks, it's really tough to remember that. So I'm just reminding myself that it'll be okay.
And feeling like you were the only one. You were not the only one. Let me tell you this.
I know we initially got this credit card because we thought we were going to be good and responsible, and we wanted to get the cash back, and we wanted to get the travel perks, and we told ourselves, like, I'm not going to overspend. I'm going to pay it off every single month. But then 1 month that didn't happen, and then 1 month turned to 2, and one purchase led to another, and then things started to snowball, and now you are completely stressed. You feel like you are completely buried, and you don't know what to do. And it's almost gotten to the point where you're like, what does it even matter at this point? I might as well just spend. I might as well just get what I want. I might as well just put another couple $100s on here because we're already so buried. What's the point?
I had a 700 credit score, even though I had $12,000 of credit card debt when I was in my 20s. Let me tell you how. At 18, I opened my first credit card and I started using it. And like most young people, I didn't realize what I was doing, and I racked up $12,000 of
Prices are getting absolutely ridiculous. Last week, I paid $5.79 for a bag of Ghirardelli baking chips, and today they were $7.39 for the 10-ounce bag that I literally bought just last week. Not even last week, on January 4th. So what? 6 days ago. The 20-ounce bag was $10.99, and now it's like $13.99. These food prices are getting ridiculous. Like, what is with that jump? That is crazy. And mind you, this is from the exact same store. I don't care. Nothing deserves a $2.50 price jump.
At this point, I seriously think Gen Z is just screwed. In 2026, Gen Z just simply earns way less than it costs to survive. The average Gen Zer makes about $25K a year, which is around $21,000 a month, and spends basically all of it on bills or rent. Nearly half of Gen Z runs out of money before the end of the month ends, and that's not just budgeting, that's just survival at that point. And don't get me started on student loan debt, because the average Gen Zer also has about $30K of student loan debt on top of all of that. We are spending more on essentials than any other previous generation, and wages just keep going down, and the cost of living just keeps going up. You're not failing in life. The system is just has completely fucked us over. Budgeting does help, don't get me wrong. I still use mine to budget and track all of my expenses, but the system is still failing us.
You can barely even survive in our system if you live on integrity and ideals, if you don't come from a family that already has money. So in order to get money, which is how you survive, you have to almost always go against, you have to betray yourself, you have to sell your time, and our system rewards and actually requires from you narcissism, greed, subservience just to survive. But if you want to rise, then greed, the willingness to exploit, being good at participating in a human ranking system. You have to have bad qualities to survive. Do you know how hard it has been for me to learn how to survive without selling myself in this system because I was not born into money?
My mortgage is going up by over $500 a month, so let's talk about it. I live in a starter house. Like, if you saw my house, we would all agree that I live in a starter house, and my mortgage is already $4,300 a month. However, I got a letter in the mail saying that my mortgage is actually increasing, and it's now going to be $4,800 a month. It's going from $4,300 a month to $4,800 a month, and I've owned this house for like 18 months. I bought it in the summer of 2024, so do the math. It's not even been 2 years at this point, and that doesn't like factor in any of the improvements that I've made on this house. I've already poured over like $75,000 into this house. I'm constantly putting money into like updates because it's outdated. It needs updates, it needs repairs, just like all of the things that come with being a homeowner. And a couple years ago, I made a video talking about why I never wanted to own a house, and I talked about things like this. And my feelings are the same. I am very grateful and very fortunate that I was able to buy a house in the area that I did buy a house in. Like, it is a great area, it's a great school district, but like genuinely the fact that I'm 28 years old and have a mortgage that is essentially $5,000 a month for a starter house that I still have to like update and take care of and repair just feels absolutely criminal.
Toothpaste is all $7, $7, $7, $7, $10. Like, dude.
My fiance and I are trying to buy a house,
and it is brutal out there. There are three options that we can pursue: renting, buying a condo or townhouse, or buying a house. I'm going to walk you through why each of the three options are currently extremely poor. Renting a house in New Jersey, especially one near the Princeton area, is going to cost over $30,000 a year, with the average rent cost being between $3,000 to $4,000. So you multiply that by 12 months, that's $36,000 to $48,000 a year. Insane, especially if you're trying to get a nice spot. That's stuff that you don't get back anyway, so you're pretty much paying to just live there, and you will never get a return on asset for that. Condos and townhouses are just as bad, if not worse, because if you buy a townhouse or condo, you have to pay the HOA fees, which they'll list on Realtor.com as, say, $200 to $500. And in doing so, you think, okay, that's a consistent fee. It's not. New Jersey's the second state to pass a law that copycats Florida's, where if it's a 2-story townhouse or condo like area, the reserves need to cover the funding if something bad happens to them. In 2021, the collapse of the Champlain Towers in Surfside, Florida, caused other states to look into adding more funds to the reserves so that they need to be able to pay down 85% of rebuilding all their structures if they end up collapsing. So there's going to be special assessments that are added that won't be put up front on Zillow or Realtor.com. And they probably won't even tell the homeowners anyway until it's about to happen. It's just like, by the way, you're going to have to pay this one-time special assessment. So if you want to get a condo or townhouse, you're going to need to search the reserve funding anyway, the reserve study anyway. And that's going to be brutal because you're going to have to pay in so much more to get to that 85% by the year 2035. Finally, trying to buy a single-family home is brutal because the ones I'm looking on Zillow, either they're completely unfinished basements, they've had mold, anything, of course, in realistic price range is tough. Some of them don't even have 4 sides to the building, like there's just no back. It's just brutal out there.
All toxic. Any interaction I have, I'm like, oh my god, you just want something from me. The American men don't even get me started. The only thing that's beneficial about America is the opportunities here. You have more opportunities here, but you have to give your soul for those opportunities. You don't experience life or balance, no. You have to give your soul.
So who do you think she's talking about? You got to give your soul. And she's talking about American men are horrible. So that's what this channel's about. We're talking about, basically what's going on in this country, how the grocery and rent prices and what's going on, and why they owe black people reparations for all the stuff I said in the beginning of this, human trafficking us from Africa, making banks and wealth and stock markets and institutions off of us, and then giving other white people, only white men's families, money and opportunities. Back then, it was going that, the white women couldn't even vote. White women wasn't beating us with whips. You ain't never seen no white woman beat a motherfucker with a whip or hang a man from a tree. Those are all white men. That was their rules under their rules. Just like how you got niggas killing each other today because of white men rules and you can get away with it and you kill black men more than white. It's kind of the same thing, yeah. You didn't see white women do weird shit, yeah. But it's because of they rules, though. They made the rules. They set them. They even enforce them and say you got to sell your soul and do what I say for you to enjoy America. So that's just basically what this whole channel is about. They even owe white women reparations for real. If you look at the Salem witch trials, they killed 10 million white women over the course of like 500 years because they was hunting them down as witches and stuff like that. Look up the Salem witch trial. Look up Joan of Arc. That's just some game for some white women right there. But anyways, it's a Follow White America. You're going to see a whole lot of white women and people talking about what's going on. That's the intro to this channel. Peace. This is the one.
America has literally built a system where being poor is more expensive. And nobody talks about how backwards that is. Like, if you're already struggling, everything costs more. A bill you couldn't afford? Well, now you owe more. Miss a payment because you were trying to juggle rent and groceries? Well...
And you want to know why that is because they understand that you'll never be able to catch up 500 years of slavery, no matter who you are. Only a white man in America have that much money. And if you're not a white man in America that they really care about, you know what I mean? You'll end up like this dude.
Yeah, sure they got.
And I gotta say, as a United States veteran, it's absolutely horrible to see.
Okay? You'll end up like that. So they don't care. You know what I'm saying? So your smartest thing is probably to just move out the country, or, you know, show whose side you on. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? Shit. If you can't beat them, join them. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? You come with some there that motherfucker go right there. He right there, y'all. Type shit. I mean, you better, you know what I mean? Get on the right side. I don't know, figure it out. But they don't give a fuck about you. At least show what side you on. Prove it some sort of way. I don't know. Anyways, this is the Fall of White America. This is the new channel, and we'll be reacting to channels like this.
How our government is taking care of our veterans. You served our country honorably.